What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Habs Tonight. It has been a hot minute since this wicked awesome crew has been together. So just, tooting our horn a little bit there. But guys, it is really good to be back with the OGs from the team that started it all with a couple others, of course. But it's great to have a lineup, guys, for the 22-23 season. We actually have something really of substance to talk about, and I'm fired up because, and I'll get into reasons why in a second. But hi, how are you guys?
It's going, Drew. It's going. I mean, we've had hockey. We can't complain. We've had hockey. It's not been good hockey, but it's been hockey. So yeah, you know what, Drew? This is all I'm thinking about right now. This picture looks phenomenal to me. So let's keep losing. I don't care.
That was a surprise. I didn't even see that before we hit record.
It's because you're not in the other group chat. It's been circling. Thank you, Adrian and Damon for constantly circling this image. No, Drew, it's been a hot minute, like you said. Shayne, to comment on what you just said, I don't mind losing if we are competitive and we see some sort of progress. If we keep playing like, I know it's preseason, but if it's going to be a year like preseason, I might just, screen my head off. But
we'll see you in February.
Yeah. We're taking a very long break. So I'm actually really happy this morning, just, because I get to use this at some point.
Boom. Okay, let's get a close up. Get a close up. Hang on.
Yep.
Where is it? I forget how to work these buttons. There it is.
There you go. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Happy for the kid.
Mm-hmm.
He was playing a lot better in the end of preseason. So, like we were discussing before we hopped on, leave him on. He's got 9 games to prove. See what he can do. If he's not living up to it, you send him down. You bring him back up later on in the season. Either way, it's a win-win.
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to throw this on there real quick.
There we go.
Oh, here we go. Hold on. Let me.
Bum. Okay. We're not trying to sell our merch. For those that get upset at us, we're trying to sell our merch. Were you trying to
get our merch?
Okay. Yeah, but buy merch. Yeah. No, honestly, that's the least of our worries when it comes to our brand. But the fact that he made it, I thought it would be fun to grab the shirt, and Shayne is obviously wearing it, which is no surprise too. But I was really excited because I'm getting a jersey made up this week on the way to Montreal. So we're gonna get to the show in a second, but I'm going to Montreal in 2 days. So on the day of opening night,
Wednesday.
Wednesday. The plan is to go to the game. A bunch of us are going to be there. After going to the home opener last year, Annik with her awesome connections hooked me up with tickets, and I'm hooked. Like I might never miss an open night again.
Sorry.
That was special. Yeah, that was special.
Sorry, not sorry.
Really sorry. Not
yeah,
sorry.
you're not. And neither am I, because it was so good. And the fact that Slav has made the lineup now officially, we know the starting lineup, the roster isn't necessarily set per se, but we are going to look at the lineup according to practice right now. Yeah. I like the fact that he's going to be part of the introduction. He's going to carry the torch. I hope that we bring that back again, because last year we missed it. It was the only thing that was missing from the home opener. But Juraj Slafkovsky has made the lineup. Also Kaiden, Ghule, Arber Xhekaj, Jordan Harris is still with the team. We don't know if he's going to make the opening night roster, but these guys have all made it. And I'm just going to pull up their names here also, but we talked about Slav. Annik, you kind of shared your thoughts. Shayne, let's get yours on Slav and even the rest of these guys making the roster out of training camp here.
Yeah, well, starting with Slav, I mean, I got to see his first game at the Bell Center, right? I went to the preseason game against the New Jersey Devils. Obviously, there's still a lot of kinks to be worked out. But what stood out to me the most was his defensive play. So I think in our zone, he was fantastic. Obviously, using his big body, long stick, he was blocking shots, cutting passes. So I thought that aspect of his game was really, really good. And then, throughout the preseason, we saw him evolve. We saw him get more comfortable. I thought he had great puck protection, but we knew this already. I mean, even Jaromir Jagr spoke about how good of a puck protector he is. So that just goes to say how good he is. I don't know, some bum in Czechoslovakia, whatever.
Some 50-year-old bum that plays hockey.
Never heard of him.
This is a joke, okay?
Yeah, some people are going to take that seriously. But no, like I mean, Slav, I thought had great zone entries as well. You know, pushing his way through guys. We saw the guy who tried to hit him, and then he fell down instead. But obviously, there's still some room for improvement offensively. I thought he did create some good chances. He's a great playmaker. That's not something I expected. He really has a great vision, and he finished with 2 assists, which, by the way, he is the second best scorer in preseason for his draft class, only behind Brad Lambert. So anybody, freaking out saying we shouldn't have drafted him, shut up. Like this means nothing. Seriously.
I missed you, Shane.
Oh, well,
I'm not going to take that shit.
But
no.
To touch on that as well is a lot of people were complaining, obviously, that, he's not ready. He's not performing to what we thought he would. Guys, it's preseason. This kid is making a jump all the way to NHL right now. Huge adjustment. It's a different ice size. A lot of factors in here to clue in. But I think we started seeing a little bit more of an adjustment as soon as we heard Martin St. Louis take him on the side and say, stop overthinking it. Just make the plays. Don't try to stand out. Don't try to play like that first overall pick that needs to stand out. He's just being himself right now, playing his game. It's going to take some adjustment time. I think the factor here is that as Habs fans, we all have PTSD. Whether we want to admit it or not, we all have previous regime PTSD. I'm going to brand that TM. Let's give it a shot. We've got guys that know what they're doing. We've got some player development. We got some analytics. I know we keep bringing this back, but I truly believe that it's going to make a difference. If not this year, in the next year. We want to be competitive this year. We don't want to make the playoffs. It's not going to happen. We can just get that out of our minds right away. Give the kid a chance, and he's got 9 games to show us something.
Okay, so that being said, in terms of Slav, what about the sheriff himself? What about this guy? Because clearly he has made probably out of everybody the biggest impression in terms of this particular training camp. And even last year he did, but this year even more so. So what do you guys make of the sheriff? He's going to crack the opening night roster. I think we all know it's fully deserved. But is there any player other than Slav maybe that we're more excited to see than Arber Xhekaj?
Xhekaj and Ghule.
Oh my God.
Period.
Yeah. Wow. Beautiful. Who wants to take it first? Go ahead, Shayne, if you want.
Yeah. I mean, Arber was for me the standout this training camp. Obviously, Ghule was phenomenal. 3 goals as a defenseman is nuts. But Arber, I thought, brought the intensity that we haven't seen in a long time. When's the last time we've had a player like this? I don't remember. I genuinely don't remember having the Habs have a player like this. So to have him on our team, how old is he? Like 22, 23?
He's young.
We have him for a long time, and he is undrafted. Shout out Marc Bergevin, okay? Thank you so much, because that's a move that he made, okay? 21, even better. My God, he's younger than me. It's crazy. But shout out Marc Bergevin, man. That is a move that he deserves a lot of credit for. He plucked them out of Costco, for crying out loud. Like this is phenomenal. And I remember last year I went to the game Red versus White, and this was the first time we had gotten a chance to see him. He came out of nowhere. Yeah. He wasn't drafted. I didn't know who he was. I just saw this monstrous man on the ice with a weird name on his back, and I'm like, who the hell is this kid? And he's just smoking everybody. I'm like, whoa, keep an eye on him. Sure enough, next year he makes the lineup, and fully deserved. He had a goal. What a shot, by the way. He fought like 15 people, and he made a ton of enemies, especially in Ottawa, which is amazing because that rivalry is a lot of fun. But no, can't say enough good things about the sheriff.
He is the Kirkland sheriff.
Oh,
honestly, shout out to whoever wrote that on Twitter. I can't remember your name, but he's a Kirkland sheriff.
Make it a shirt.
I mean, I probably should, but we'll see. To discuss your point on when's the last time we had this kind of player. So Arber Xhekaj for me is a modern day Sheldon Surrey. Period.
Surrey.
He might not have the clapper from the blue line, but he is physical. He's offensive. not offensive, offensive.
Very offensive. He offends a lot of people.
Very offensive. Offensive. Pardon my French.
You were right.
And, he's so exciting to watch. So I remember Shayner and I last season, that's the first thing we discussed on Autour de la Ligue is watch out for Arber Xhekaj because he is going to move some stuff around, especially for an undrafted guy. And as soon as he started this season, we're back on the Arber Xhekaj train. Yep. I never left the train. I'm still riding on it. It's great. Yeah. He's going to be a fan favorite in Montreal in no time. He already is. And I think what the most important thing was that he said is, I'm not a fighter. I'm a hockey player who just so happens that I can fight. Mm-hmm. He's going to be that type of guy that we need to not get pushed around. He had the sheriff nickname in the minors for a reason. He's going to be that protector we need on the ice. And finally, at the blue line, we have some big guys.
Yeah. With Joel Edmondson out of the lineup, I mean, this is a huge opportunity for him to step in and just show not to show what he can do, but just kind of establish himself. And when Edmondson is back, I mean, you got Edmondson, Matheson, Xhekaj, say on the left side, for example, and that's three big bodies. Yeah. And Kaiden Guhle's not a slouch either. Like that kid's 6'2", and he's not afraid to throw the weight around. It got a lot of skill, comparables to Shea Weber. You guys have said too, and I've said the same thing. So Jordan Harris and let's maybe talk about smooth skating Jordan Harris and Kaiden Guhle for a second, you guys, and I'll let whoever wants to jump in first.
Jordan Harris skates like a butterfly on the ice. I don't know if that makes sense, but he's just swaying. Like, I absolutely love his skating. He's perfection on the ice. Cannot wait to see where this kid is going to fit in, but I seriously hope he gets his shot this season to play a couple more than 2-3 games in a row. I loved what we were seeing of him last season, so I can only imagine with his development keep going. I know it's
yeah. Jordan Harris is my kind of player. Like, he reminds me a bit of myself when I played. Okay. I was never that good, but I had a similar type of play. So it rings home. I really, really love Jordan Harris. But I also love the person, right? That's something we overlook sometimes is just how good of a person Jordan Harris is. This man is educated. He is smart. He comes from a good hockey family. I just love this guy. I hope he cracks the lineup. He's going to be probably the 6th or 7th defenseman here with Kovacevic, however you pronounce his name there, but that we picked up. But I thought he did really well in preseason. Again, few rookie mistakes here and there, but nothing too drastic, nothing too concerning. He had some great offensive rushes, and he's sound defensively. I love his style of play.
Well, speaking of, do you have something, Nick? Go ahead.
Nope, just agree.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, speaking of lineup, why don't we just get right into it, guys? Because we have a lineup from practice this morning and some question marks, guys, because we don't know for sure who's cracking that opening night roster. We're going to take a look at it right now. So we see here on line number 1, no surprise, Cole and Nick together with Josh Anderson. On line number 2, Sean Monahan actually lining up on the left wing. As predicted, he may take on the wing before trying himself at center. Kirby Dach at center, or Kirby Dash, according to this French translation here, with Mike Hoffman and or Jonathan Drouin on the right side. And then third line, Slafkovsky with Christian Dvorak and Brendan Gallagher on the right. I really love the idea of trying that one out. Have not seen it in training camp. Fourth line, Rem Pitlick, Jake Evans, insert Evgeny Dadonov or Michael Pezzetta. I think that looks correct to me. I think personally, this is the kind of lineup I was wanting to see in the preseason, but we just couldn't see it. This to me looks more believable in terms of what we're actually going to see in terms of, do you guys want to talk about the forward group before we get into the D?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Yeah. So thoughts from each of you here.
Listen, I like it. I'm not saying I don't like it. I like it. My only concerns right now seeing this is going to be the Mike Hoffman, Jonathan Drouin alternate and Dadonov and Pezzetta. I'd rather see Pezzetta in the lineup over Dadonov because I personally did not enjoy his camp whatsoever. The giveaways, that he just did not look interested. For a guy that makes over $5 million a year, that's in a contract year. I just wasn't impressed with Dadonov whatsoever. As for Mike Hoffman and Jonathan Drouin, those are two guys, again, that did not prove much in training camp. I know that a lot of people say, well, they're regulars. They know they're going to make the lineup, whatever. Yes, but as veterans, people are going to be looking up to you. Mm-hmm. You're not setting the example for these kids to, push every single day, prove that you want to be here. It's a privilege to be here. Mm-hmm. So a little bit disappointed on that end. And when we take a look at our lineups later on, and even from today, Drouin wasn't even in those lines. And honestly, I didn't even care. It's nothing against Jonathan Drouin. We've had many shows about him to discuss what he's going through, what he's been through, and all that he's overcome, especially being a French player in Montreal, even harder. Mm-hmm. However, we keep saying for the past 4 years now, oh, next year is going to be his year. Oh, it's his year. Oh, it's his year. When is it going to be his year?
It's now or never, because
it's now or never. He's in a contract year.
Yeah.
And still, it doesn't look like he gives two shits.
Yeah.
Shayne, I don't know if you want to comment on that, but
no, it's true, and it's sad because I got the chance to meet Jonathan. I think he's a wonderful guy, great person, and he's gone through some heavy stuff, and he's gone through it. He's here, he's still playing hockey, but like, we have to call it out. We have to call it as we see it. He was not great in preseason. He just did not. He didn't deserve a spot in the lineup, if I'm being quite honest. There are other forwards that played better than him. So if you're going strictly off of who deserves to be there, I'm sorry, he doesn't. Neither does Mike Hoffman. He's a liability defensively. He doesn't make smart plays. And we got him to be a scorer. That's what he is, right? He is a pure goal scorer.
Power play,
and he doesn't score goals. You know what I mean? So again, nothing against those guys, right? We are all about Habsitivity here. We're not going to bash them. We're not going to call them assholes or anything like that. Okay, they're good people, and we wish them the best. But again, we have to analyze their play. They haven't played great. Okay, there's other players that deserve that chance over them, in our opinion.
One of them being Raphael Harvey-Pinard.
Yeah.
I was seriously expecting for this kid to crack the lineup this year. I'm disappointed and a bit frustrated to the fact that, he gets called up 1 or 2 games, 3 games, 5 games max. He never got the shot to prove long-term what he's capable of. He had a solid camp. So if he's not one of the first guys to be called up, like, come on, especially over guys like Hoffman, Drouin, even Armia. We know that Yoel Armia is injured. He's been put on IR today for at least 7 days. So I was kind of expecting to see RHP sticking up in the lineup at least for until Armia gets back. But Armia is another one that we need to discuss, that he is a great player defensively. He's got a massive body. He's great on one-on-one battles. However, last season did not deserve a spot in the lineup, in my opinion. And if we're seeing the same thing this year, I don't know, is it a contract year for him this season, or it's next year?
I don't think so.
No, he's signed for another 3 years. We signed him for 4 years. We have him for 3 more years.
Jeez. Okay.
That was one of his overpayments.
So for me, my personal hot take on this is you give Yoel Armia 15, 20 games to get his shit together. And if it's not together, he's someone that you look at moving or that you swap out. There's guys that deserve to be there that will do whatever it takes to get a spot in the future. Let him get a taste of the NHL. Let him try it out, and you go from there. So I really hope that's what we're going to be seeing this year compared to previous years of, let's just stick to the lineup. It is what it is, and boring hockey. No, give the guys a shot. Period. Shayne?
Yeah, and I think I was just going to say, because did you have something, Shinner?
No, you're good.
Just because RHP, I feel like, is a victim of the fact that guys like Dadonov, Hoffman, and Drouin are still here. So that's why, to me, it's very clear that he's not in the lineup, and now he can just go make Laval's already pretty good roster even better. We tried to get the Laval lineup in here, but we just had a bit of a technical difficulty. But Laval's lineup is going to be that much stronger with RHP there, and I hope that he can just go and be a leader there, along with guys like Mishar and I'm horrible at naming the lineup off the top of my head, but the young guys that we expect are going to take a step and then maybe crack the Habs lineup. Not many guys are going to make the Montreal Canadiens out of Laval.
No.
It's going to be like you're going to count it on maybe 1.5 hands how many guys are going to actually crack it. But I think RHP showed very well in training camp. But I mean, so did Owen Beck. So did Philip Michard. And these guys, it's not their time yet, right? So like that's okay. So to me, RHP will get his time. I think after this season is really when the excitement will build, because it'll all be about the kids after this year. We've got a lot of guys that are going to be not on the team next year.
Unless there's a lot of moves this season, guys leave, trade deadlines. I'm expecting to see a lot of rotation this season. I know, Shane, you wanted to talk about Laval's lineup. You got a little bit more of an idea of what's going on, but we mentioned that we talked about Trudeau having a great camp, and Richard. Richard is going to be a wonderful asset to the Rocket. So
for sure. No, that's it. The Rocket are stacked. I mean, get your tickets, folks, because anybody who's living in that area, it's going to be a pretty interesting season. So, you know, you got young guys, right? You got Meshar, like you mentioned, Dekes. You got Mishak, who's going to make the jump to pro this year. Ilonen has been steady with Laval. And then you got new guys like Anthony Richard, who's lit it up this preseason. I mean, he was fantastic. And a new addition as well, Mitchell Stevens, who has NHL experience. He's likely going to be our first line center. Belzile, again, still, you know, reliable AHL forward.
Dello.
He's
Corey Dello on defense. Yeah. So again, Laval is going to be really, really good this year. And if Kaiden Primo can continue off of what he was doing in postseason last year, because in the playoffs, he was nuts. He was crazy. So if he can continue doing that, it's going to be another good year in Laval. So we'll have some winning, some winning in Montreal. Just, you know, not the big club.
Now, I want to jump into your guys' mock lineups for the Habs for opening night, because I think that this is interesting. So based on the fact that we actually got a roster before we recorded today, we were all concerned. So I want to say happy and Thanksgiving. Thanks, Kent Hughes and Habs, for giving us this lineup before recording today, because let me tell you, it's much more fun to talk about now. So Shayner's opening night mock lineup looks like this. So Shayner, you want to run it down a little bit and explain it?
For sure.
We'd love to hear it.
Well, first line, obviously, you know, the two there, Suzuki and Caufield, are locks. You can't take them out. But Monahan, I think, would be interesting to have there. Good veteran guy. He's had a lot of success in his career, and maybe he can, you know, pass that on to Suzuki and Caufield. Good knowledge, and he's good on faceoffs as well. So helping Suzuki out with faceoffs could be interesting. My second line here is more of a fantasy, right? the three big boys together, but really there's basis off of that. So Slav, if you look at, you know, who he had the most chemistry with this preseason, it's been Doc and Anderson. You know, he's played really well when he was with those two guys. So might as well give it a try. And then third line, you know, Devo, Dadonov, Gallagher. Gally had a fantastic preseason. I was really, really happy with how he played. He looks healthy. He looks strong. So shout out to Gally, man. We love him. And then my fourth line, you know, you got the duo of Evans and Pitlick, which I have loved this preseason. I thought their chemistry is on fire. And then you add in Pezzetta because I love him. You know, I think he deserves that spot. Defensive pairings, I have Matheson with Weidman. Big shout out to Mike Matheson, because, you know, I got to see the game against the Devils and he stood out. The man played like 28 minutes or something ridiculous like that. Like, he was on the ice all the time and he was making the right plays all the time. So I think he's going to be a fan favorite in no time. I love him already. Ghule and Savard. Ghule is just such a beauty. I love him. And what a hair, like, can we talk about his hair real quick? Like, this man has ridiculous flow. He's got ridiculous lettuce. Anyways, and then my third pairing here is Arber, the Sheriff Xhekaj, with Jonathan Kovacevic. Now, I have Kovacevic in because I'm basing it off of what Winnipeg fans have been saying. So when we claimed him, I saw a lot of Jets fans really angry, saying that, you know, this guy had real potential and he could, you know, at some point in the season crack the Jets lineup. So it's really encouraging. And he's a big boy, right? 6'4". So him with Xhekaj together, that could be pretty nasty. And if you saw there, my extras are Drouin, Hoffman, and Harris. Now, Harris, hurts to have as an extra because you guys know I love him, but I don't know, with Edmondson coming back in at some point too, I feel like he would be best in Laval pretty early on. I'd want to see him play some games instead of being in the stands, but I'm sorry, like Drouin and Hoffman don't deserve a spot right now. It's sad to say, but that's the truth. If you go strictly based off of who deserves to be there, they don't.
Yeah. Well,
Nick, let's jump right into yours then.
There's a quote from Martin St. Louis that just came out, and I'm just going to translate from French. He said, "Jonathan Drouin is still in my plans. He still has the potential, and we just have to help him get him there." So again, repetitive from every season, but
but you're fortunate that Marty St. Louis is giving you a vote of confidence. That's what I can say.
Yes.
If you don't
Let's hope.
If this doesn't happen now, this like, and we have been saying it every year, but I mean, if you can't get a guy who understands the French market, like Martin St. Louis, like if you can't look him in the eyeball and just say, listen, man, like this is what we need from you, and just go and do it night after night after night and not have any nights off, then all right, like I'm sure there will be some leeway there with what we're going to do with them. But either way, I just want to see something good out of the kid. Like, just end it on a high note. You know what I mean? Like, you're a Montreal guy, and I just want to see him end it on a high note. And I know how you guys feel about the lineup, but let's talk about a Nick's lineup here. Forgive her spelling errors for everything. I guess her iPhone did not like the way everything was spelled or something.
No, my iPhone did not like this lineup. So mine is a little bit, very similar to Shane. I switched mostly on the last two lines of having Dvorak center on the fourth and Evans on the third, just because of what we've been seeing from Jake Evans. I think he deserves the shot of having that third or even second, depending on what's going to happen. Devo, I mean, great on faceoff, great guy, but we don't see much from him. So that's my reasoning for having him fourth, is just seeing what happens and give the spot to Evans right now, since he deserves it and he's ready for it. Pizzetta is in for me. No brainer. He was great on the fourth line. Cannot question that. Dadonov, I'm assuming, probably going to move here and there. Like, to me, Dadonov doesn't belong anywhere in the lineup. Like, I'm sorry, but it's a floater, It's a mix and match on whatever we need. Defense is where I switched up mine compared to Shaner. So I have Ghule and Savard on the first line, two big guys. I think Goule's ready for that first spot. Matheson and Wideman second. Shane, like you said, Matheson has been, for me, kind of like a Chariot a little bit, where he just adapted right away. He's a big guy on the ice, and he's reliable. Wideman had a little bit more of a quiet camp, but he's that veteran that we need. He is great on the power play, so that's going to be a plus. I have Xhekaj and Kova guy. I'm going to call him Kova guy because I don't want to butcher his name.
Kovacevic.
Yeah, not Kovalev on the last line. I would have kept Schuneman just because he's reliable. We've seen what he can do. So I was a little upset to see him on waivers yesterday. I thought he was going to crack the lineup. However, that's not the case. So we might see Harris as well. Like, I don't know what they're going to do for defense, especially with Edmondson being out. There's so many possibilities right now. And then obviously Jake Allen as our starter.
Yeah, it's
no brainer.
That one's pretty easy.
So no brainer. I know you had your concerns about Montembeault early in the preseason, Nick. So
I still do.
All right. So what are your thoughts on the goalies, guys, before we I'll talk about my kind of lineup as well, but let's talk about the goalies for a second now that we know.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Jake Allen gets a well-deserved extension. I think he's going to be he's obviously our number one guy. As a spare, we have Primo and Montembeault. So obviously Montembeault stays up. Primo deserves that full year as a starter in the A. 100%.
Yep.
And then next season you give him the backup.
Yep.
No choice. But if I could have Montembeault out of there, it's no disrespect towards Samuel Montembeault. Great guy. Made some incredible saves last season. He's just not reliable. You don't know what kind of game he's going to have. He can let in a soft one and then be solid for the rest of the game, or he can make a solid save and then he's crap for the rest of the game. So it's the uncertainty of what kind of game are we getting from Samuel Montembeault. And if we want to be competitive and if we want to move forward, I don't believe that he should be in the plans of this team just because of that. However, he might come in this season and take everything that he's learned last season and apply it and prove me wrong. By all means, Samuel, prove me wrong. I'll eat my words. I don't care. But for me, not a reliable goaltender right now to have. And if we can make a move, pick someone up, or switch some things around, I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah. It's a big question mark, right? Like Jake Allen is your steady guy. You know what you're going to get. He is phenomenal. He's a great goaltender. He could be a number one goaltender in many, many teams in the NHL. Okay. This guy is underrated. Samuel Montembeault, on the other hand, like you said, Annik, you never know what you're going to get. You could get a Vezina winning performance, or you could get a performance that would get you this guy. You know, you never know what you're going to get. So it's really unfortunate because, again, he is a great kid. I love him, and he's got great attitude. He's from here. He wants to be here. And I hope he really, shows up and has some great performances, and maybe, who knows, could be in the future of the plans of the Montreal Canadiens. But as of now, his preseason, again, ups and downs. He lets in a softie, but then he makes an insane save. It's like, what's going on? So confusing. And then Primo, I mean, please do not call him up unless you need to. If you need to call up a goaltender, call up Poulin. He actually has NHL experience. He played with the Islanders, right?
Yeah.
Leave Primo in Laval. I want him there the whole year. That's it. He needs to stay there this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope we see just a good balance between the two guys. And honestly, the biggest concern for most of us, I think, as Habs fans, is on defense. So it's really in front of Sam and Jake that is the biggest question mark, but because we got two new kids coming out of camp now. Yeah. I think they're going to make their mistakes, but I mean, that's okay as long as
you learn.
They're learning, right? Yeah. So
sorry, just before you keep going with your lineup, Martin St. Louis said he doesn't believe that Matheson will start the season.
Oh.
So why can't we have nice things? Why?
Why not? I know. Son of a gun, man. Okay, so that being said, go ahead, Shane. What do you got?
It's okay. It's okay.
I was wondering where you're going with that.
Me too. I was like, oh, does he know something we don't?
I thought you were just about to drop a trade. Like that's what I thought. I thought you were like the Habs just acquired a freaking another right shot defense, left shot defenseman.
What's your take on this, Dekes?
Yeah, well, I just kind of I liked going with the lineup that they had at practice today, just for the fact that I think it's the most realistic. I mean, our mock lineups are fun and everything like that, but I do think that if Slav's going to have success, for example, coming into his first set of NHL games where games matter, I do like Devo and Gallagher on his right, because Gallagher is going to be a workhorse. So I feel like, to me, they're going to get some loose pucks over to Slav's stick for him to get some more chances to shoot, really. And honestly, Slav was a better playmaker than anything else, than a shooter even throughout camp. So we saw the chemistry with our HP, right, and in scrimmages. But I do like Devo because he's a responsible centerman. We did start to get more offense out of Devo near the end of last season, and face-off wise, also very reliable. Yeah. So. Yeah. And I like Kirby Dach with Sean Monahan too. Like, that's kind of interesting. And then throw in, a scorer, Mike Hoffman. So, and then Nick Cole and Josh on the first line, I think makes a lot of sense. I really think that you got to insulate Nick and Cole with Josh Anderson, just, wheeling and dealing like he does. And that's why I like Gally with Slav and Devo, because again, you're just going to create space and opportunities for those loose pucks, and just creating separation, right? So that a young player like Slav, who doesn't have the experience right now, who's still getting adjusted to the North American game, can have some opportunities created, and he's going to work just as hard. And I think, honestly, I know we talked about Drouin and how, like, these guys, some of them are just not built for preseason. It's not maybe a good attitude to have. You don't set a good example, but to me, I think it's a light switch when it comes to the regular season. So I'm hopeful that the intensity level picks up, and you see Slav, like even Slav, look light on his feet sometimes. And I think the intensity level is going to absolutely pick up on opening night, and we're going to see a better game from everybody. I hope that includes Dadonov, Drouin, and Hoffman, all the guys that we're criticizing, right? But to me, I think that when opening night hits and that puck drops, like that's when it's like, all right, it's game time. So to me,
hopefully,
I hope that changes.
Hopefully,
I hope that changes. But also, and defensively, we had Jordan Harris lined up with David Savard. I didn't get a chance to go down this lineup with you guys. So
honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I just want to make a point too on David Savard. So I was very, very on, like I was on David Savard's case last year.
Yeah.
Like bad.
Yeah.
From the games that I've watched, he has been great this preseason. I don't know if, like you said, Drew, it's switched on, but he was that veteran that was taking time with the kids. You saw him at the bench with the iPad, showing some stuff to some boys, going around, showing some stuff to the others. Like, he was very involved and he was reliable, making great plays. The kid can score.
He can.
He can score when he when he goes for it. He can score. So
he's a breakaway specialist, David. So
yes. Cale Makar, who? Like, come on. I'm kidding.
Tweet that out. Okay.
I mean, I will. I can't wait to see the comments on that one. However,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see David Savard, and that's why I don't mind seeing him with Jordan Harris, because it could be the mentor that he needs to play at a certain level. Beautiful skater. Yeah. David Savard has been skating a lot better than what he did last season. So I don't know if it just took him a year to get adjusted to that system or whatever it was, but he had a great preseason. So I'm hoping we see a lot more of that this season and that he can become a reliable guy, especially with Edmondson not being there.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think so. I think it's an opportunity. And again, like you said, he's kind of just come in. He finally knows his role, I think, also with Petrie gone, Weber's gone, Sherratt's gone, Kulak's gone. Like, we lost a lot of guys last year.
We cleared the bench.
Yeah, exactly. So now I do want to bring up this line one more time because there is players on it that we didn't actually have a chance to talk about. And one guy who, again, we know the controversies that surrounded him, but Logan Mailloux did earn himself a contract. The Canadiens have actually taken the next step with this guy, paired up with Jonathan Kovacek, and Kovacek's Niagara Falls native, by the way. Just fun fact for everybody. But Logan Mailloux
was all proud.
Yeah. So the criticism that particularly came that we didn't like, which really made no sense, and it's only a couple of ridiculous fans, if you even want to call them fans. Because Chantal Maccabee, who we know is the VP of communications with the Canadiens, came out and basically just tried to not defend Logan Mailloux, but just say what the specific incident was, that it wasn't a crime. It was, or maybe, Annik, you can explain this a little better because I feel like I'm going to screw it up. But I think the Canadiens are trying to do right, and they waited patiently before signing Logan Mailloux, and now he's going to go back to London and get an opportunity here.
So I never voiced my opinion about the whole Mailloux situation on the show just because it was so controversial. And we as a team on Habs Tonight had a big discussion in our group chat where we all shared how we felt. We shared some stories. I think we had a great group discussion. And we made a decision as a team not to address it just because we had faith in what the Montreal Canadiens were doing. And now is the proper time to speak about it because we didn't know what was going on. We didn't know the next steps. And now that we have more information, I think it's okay for us to comment about it. And obviously we have different takes. There's women who have their takes. There's men who have their takes. Like, it's a very controversial situation, right? So what basically happened was a fan on Twitter who wrote, well, we all know about Ian Cole that had some allegations addressed towards him. He's now suspended by the Tampa Bay Lightning with pay until they get further information on all the accusations that were made, which were very serious by an anonymous source. So meanwhile, you have some fans, or whatever you want to call them, people that decided to comment that the Canadiens are backing a sexual predator and a sexual offender in Logan Mailloux. And poor Chantal Maccabee, who decides to clear up the situation, not by defending Mailloux, but just explaining that Mailloux was not a convicted sexual predator or whatsoever. She's explaining what he was convicted, not even I think he was charged.
He was
charged in Sweden with sharing photography of a minor without her consent. There's a difference between sharing a photo of a minor without consent and dressing, groping, and sexually assaulting someone. Let's get that clear.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that. Chantal was simply trying to address what was written. She was in no way backing Ian Cole. She was not backing Logan Mailloux. She was explaining the situation. So everybody can just chill the F out, please, seriously, and leave our queen alone. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, shut up, move on, and leave her alone. That's all I have to say regarding Chantal, because she's my queen. You don't like it? Well, GTFO. So, period. Now, regarding Logan, he signed a 3-year entry level. Was it entry level?
Yeah.
Okay. So he signs a 3-year entry level. If you would have told me this as soon as he got drafted, I would have been completely against it, because we don't know what's going on. We don't know the steps that are being taken. Knowing that Logan is going through rehabilitation programs set by the Montreal Canadiens, and it's been reported that on his own, he is also seeking treatments and whatever he needs to not only deal with the situation, but how to apply it to his future. I am going to take the gun from here and put it here and say, you know what? Things are being done. That is why I have no problem with the entry-level contract, is that we're seeing progress and we're seeing change. If we weren't seeing it, obviously everybody would say, like, what the hell's going on? This is the Montreal Canadiens making the situation okay. No, what he did will never be okay, ever. And he's going to pay for that for the rest of his life, because his name's going to be associated to that situation. But if he can change his life around, get educated on whatever he did, apply it to kids, apply it to young guys, even women. This is not just something that males do. Women do the same thing as well. You just don't hear as much about it. If he can start a system, a program, or anything to be a voice of reason for these people, this is the change that we need to see. You can tell that he's remorseful. He made a mistake, and he's going to pay for that for the rest of his life, no matter what happens. So leave Chantal alone. Let her do her job. She's simply commenting. She's not defending anyone. She's explaining. So take a minute and actually read what she said. In no way is she saying, well, come on, common sense, relax. It is what it is. And that's what I have to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, if there's anyone that doesn't deserve an ounce of hate, it's Chantal Machabée. She is a wonderful human who has done so much good. And like you said, she didn't do anything wrong here. She did nothing wrong. She stated facts. That's it. So anybody shitting on her, I mean, I don't have nice things for you. Like, seriously, that's very, very low. And I got to give a shout out to Logan Mailloux, because this summer, he has been very invested in this team. Okay. He has been out with players. He went to the country festival with Josh Anderson and Nick Suzuki. You always see him trying to talk with veterans and having discussions with Suzuki and like you said, he's making steps to be a better person. So I have nothing wrong against him. I even saw him at the draft, right? And Nick, you saw him as well, right? He was there. He made the effort to be there.
He's in public.
Exactly.
Knowing that he's going to get ripped.
But he's there anyways.
He's there anyways.
So, no, I have to give a shout out to Logan Mailloux and to Chantal Machabée. We love both of you, and don't listen to these idiots.
That's the whole thing about Twitter. I mean, that's why I'm barely on it. Like I'm on it here and there, mostly for information, but I just can't get involved in this stuff. And that's why it's toxic. I save my talking for right here in front of a camera. This is as close to a real conversation with a human being you can get. And I can't do it. Like a few people that want attention on Twitter, that's all it is. People that are bored, that want attention. They just want to throw darts out there. They just want to shots fired, all that's like, it's just stupid. Yeah. And I like what you guys said. And Annik, I'm glad you got to finally share your thoughts on that on our show, because again, we had a very deep conversation about it privately.
We did
with the whole team last year. And it wasn't easy, because we all shared things that were personal to us. And I think we became closer as a group because of it. So we're going to do right by the situation. The Canadiens are going to do right. And the fact that Logan also lived with Nick Suzuki all summer. Like, what better of a role model?
I'm sorry, Drew. That is Captain Nick Suzuki.
Ooh. Oh, that sounds amazing.
Thank you.
Chills.
Thank you.
You like the crowd on opening night.
The hair's starting to rise on my arm.
I know.
Yeah, goosebumps.
Yeah. So let's end on that positive note, I think, because I mean, again, this was important to discuss, and really, Logan Mailloux could turn out to be a great player. Like that's what's
he is a great player.
Yeah, high potential.
He is a great player. We got lucky that we drafted a great player. It's just the situation that made it controversial.
The
timing was wrong.
So, yeah.
But it could be that the timing was right too. We got him at the right time to get him to change and implement that change. Yeah. So let's spin this into Habsitivity. Is that we got a great player out of this who is, again, for the rest of his life going to be associated to what he did. However, he is making the steps to become a better person and educate others.
Yeah.
That's my final statement on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's well said. And I think that, again, like another team was probably going to take him also. That's the other thing people don't realize is that the reason I think the Canadiens did decide to is because they heard rumblings that somebody was going to take him at some point, whether it was the second round or whatever. And now they've course corrected. They're trying to write, they can't really right or wrong, but they can write the future and how the rest of it plays out, the rest of the story. Yeah. So we know how the story started. It's going to have a much better ending. Let's hope for that. So folks, we're going to wrap this show up. I was just going to pull up the link. It's so funny. I just clicked it. We're always click happy on this show. But if you guys do want to grab some merch again, Slaf Squatch, we coined that on the show. So you can grab one of these bad boys. It's lots of fun. Habs Tonight logo on the sleeve right there. And there's also lots of great stuff coming up for fall and winter on there. And then guys, I should mention this. And if you haven't already, we are just a hair away from 15,000 subscribers on this show. So if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. We're going to be back at it here for the season. And we couldn't be more excited now that a new season is upon us. So this was a lot of fun. Let's jump back on with the squad here with you guys. So thanks for everything, you guys.
Yes, sir. Dekes, very quickly.
Yes.
We kind of skimmed over it, but we have to mention just how great Cole Caufield has been. Okay.
Who? Oh, Cole. Yeah, sorry. No, I'm just kidding. The guy wouldn't shut up. The guy I wouldn't shut up about.
The guy who wouldn't stop talking about him.
Yeah, Dale was like all over me about that. Yeah, he was like, "Oh my god." Anyway, no, but
very quickly. I mean, he led the league in preseason in power play goals with 4. Right, he had 4 goals. Again, phenomenal. He also led the NHL. Yeah, in his office. That's right. He's stealing OV's office. He led the NHL in shots on goal in preseason. Okay. Worth noting. And he just looks phenomenal. Like, come on.
He's ready.
How can you not be excited to see Cole Caufield this season? We're smelling the 30 goals here easily. He finished last season with 23, and we know how it started, right? So if under the whole, under Marty the whole season, it's going to be pretty. So get excited, folks. Get excited.
Yeah, he's going to have a much better start this year than last year. That's for darn sure. My sister just texted she's on her way to Montreal, and Martin Lapointe is on her flight, she says.
Wow.
It's like, wow, okay, right on.
Thank you.
Get some photos, Tracy.
What's that?
Get some photos, Tracy.
Yeah, I'm going to text her back in a minute, but awesome. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for watching, everybody. If you stuck around this long, it's been a long show because we have lots to talk about. It's been a while. We got a new season upon us. We're all looking forward to seeing what transpires, and we can't wait to journey throughout the season with everybody. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one, and ciao, bonsoir, or au revoir, or
they all work. They all work.
Good night.
Bon nuit.
Yeah, bon
happy
nuit.
Thanksgiving, folks.
And that too. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
See you, everybody.